These minor gaffes, which range from odd continuity mistakes to clothing mismatches, add an amusing and surprising element to the beloved series. What number have you seen? Let's examine it more closely to see what you might have overlooked. Fonda declined the role. CBS sought to get a big-name celebrity to help anchor the Waltons and attract viewers while the network was getting ready for the show. The renowned actor Henry Fonda was one of their top picks to play John Walton. Fonda was praised at the time for his work in parts that mirrored comparable ideals and environments, such as his position in Spencer's Mountain, which was related to the original plot. CBS thought that by hiring him, the Waltons would make the show more prestigious and appealing. Henry Fonda was contacted and offered the chance to think about the position. After watching the pilot, he thought about it carefully. He ultimately chose not to participate, though. Fonda's justification was well considered and demonstrated his awareness of the unique qualities of the program. There was no star in the family, he clarified. It was what it was because of the family. Fonda understood that the Walton family's dynamic as a whole, rather than any one character, was what made the sitcom so strong. Fonda's claim was subsequently hauntingly confirmed. In fact, if Fonda believed that the family was the true star of the program, it was the thing that the audience ultimately found most endearing about the Waltons. Fonda's unwillingness to work on the project was just what the program needed to maintain the heartwarming family portrayal that became its defining feature, where no performer dominated the others. No. Although CBS was unable to cast Henry Fonda in the character of John Walton, they were able to find Ralph Waite, who would produce a completely different ending with his performance. It made Goodman because, in some way, it kept the series' focus on the family as a whole intact without giving away any plot points. He uses these quotations as a reminder that genuine character relationships, rather than star power, are sometimes what a show truly requires. Wait till you see what sneaked through in the following scene if you thought the casting twist was unexpected. Odd scenes. Fans continue to discuss a number of noteworthy antics and peculiar incidents that happened in the Waltons. The Sinner, a Season 2 episode, featured one such incident. Grandpa trips during a barn fire scene as Yancey and the Waltons are attempting to extinguish the flames. Inadvertently, he refers to Erin by the actress's own name, Mary Elizabeth, rather than the name of her role. It's a brief but visible pause that viewers with keen eyes can spot. The honeymoon, which is also from Season 2, has another odd moment. David W. Harper, who portrays Jim Bob, misses his cue in a scene as John and Olivia get ready for their eagerly anticipated honeymoon. He glances at the camera and speaks something, perhaps seeking direction, before rushing out of the shot rather than leaving the scene gracefully. In a similar vein, viewers who pay careful attention may see that Marie Earle, who was portraying Maud Gormley, was caught mouthing a number of her lines. The Waltons were not exempt from wardrobe malfunctions. For example, Elizabeth sits with Jim Bob in the Season 4 episode, The Secret, while sporting a red sweater. But the sweater disappears when she goes inside to talk to Grandma and her mother, only to resurface as she is leaving for the outside. The Long Night from Season 5 similarly lacks this continuity, since Grandpa begins the journey to the hospital wearing dark underwear beneath his overalls before abruptly changing to a blue and white checkered shirt on the way back. More inconsistencies in historical continuity have been produced by several of Walton's specials. The Anniversary, the sixth season episode, depicted a time in 1940 when John and Olivia commemorated their 25th wedding anniversary. However, the same John and Olivia are seen enjoying their 40th anniversary in the 1969 film A Walton's Easter, when they ought to have been celebrating their 54th. The Whirlwind, an episode from Season 9, also features an automobile ownership confusion. Johnsy claims to have purchased his vehicle in San Francisco, but Mother's Day on Walton's Mountain demonstrates that he actually purchased it at Harry's used car in Deadeye Gulch, Nevada. The Walton children's improbable genetic makeup is one of the intriguing facts about the family that fans have brought to light. The parents on the program, John and Olivia Walton, share pale blue eyes, as do Olivia's aunt and uncle and both of John's parents. Given that family history, it would seem reasonable for their offspring to also have lighter eye hues. This is surprising, though, because all three of the children have dark brown eyes, which is an extremely unlikely outcome considering the genetic characteristics displayed by the parents and grandparents. Two blue-eyed parents will virtually certainly have blue-eyed children, according to the general pattern of eye color inheritance. Those who are knowledgeable with basic genetics will notice that the Walton children do not fit this assumption. It would be extremely unlikely for a couple with blue eyes to have children with dark brown eyes. It is generally accepted that the likelihood of such an event occurring in our planet would be less than 1%. Given how drastically distant this fact is from reality, it supports the notion that the show might deviate from science in terms of character looks and casting. Might make a realistic concession on familial characteristics. In the end, the Walton children's unexpected eye color is but one minor instance of the show's author's use of artistic license. Despite being improbable, this trait did not take away from the genuineness and warmth of the family dynamics that made the Waltons so appealing to their viewers. Such peculiarities are typically accepted by viewers as one of the many minor facets of television narrative. Don't care about the dog. With numerous appearances and integration into the Walton family's everyday routine, Reckless the dog was a cherished member of the family. As the devoted friend that frequently accompanied the kids and grown-ups in numerous endearing moments, viewers grew to love Reckless. The series' wholesome and grounded charm was enhanced by the dog's presence. Nevertheless, observant fans finally discovered a startling contradiction with reference to Reckless. The fact that Reckless is constantly referred to as him throughout the majority of the episodes proves that the dog was supposed to be male. The way the characters talked about and addressed their pet supported this seemingly simple detail. Even worse than all of this is that later on, Reckless looks to be pregnant, which is exactly what happens in the following episode. The fact that Reckless had previously been portrayed as a male dog was then completely at odds with the story's main idea. Fans are left perplexed by this inconsistency, which leads directly to one of those strange minor omissions that come up while rewatching the series. This is an illustration of the sporadic continuity mistakes that, despite the program's overall structure, made their way into the Waltons. Despite the fact that the puppy did not alter the audience's affection for Reckless, even the greatest classics are susceptible to brief periods of character forgetting, whether or not they feature dogs. The voice of each episode. The Waltons' creator and author, Earl Hamner Jr., made an appearance in each episode, albeit not in a way that most viewers would notice right away. This is one of the show's most intriguing facts. He gave the show's narration, therefore his voice was his contribution. As an adult John Boy, Earl Hamner provided thoughts at the start and finish of each episode that provided context and emotional nuance. Although his face was not visible in every episode, Earl Hamner's vocal role made him the most frequent guest on the show. His kind, introspective tone became a defining characteristic of the show's aesthetic, assisting in the portrayal of John Boy's feelings and recollections as he reflected on his family's life in rural Virginia. Fans realized that this well-known voice contributed to the series' genuine and emotional appeal. Throughout the lengthy series, Earl Hamner made at least one appearance, both in voice and demeanor. In the episode where Maggie Mackenzie and John Boy are at the beach, he himself appeared. In a flashback, he plays Maggie's spouse. The two are shown dancing together, giving series viewers a rare look at the person who tells their beloved stories. Earl Hamner's dual position as a writer behind the scenes and his one visual cameo illustrate how much he loved the Waltons. In addition to writing, he contributed a voice and an image, which supported the series' sentimental and intimate ambience and set it apart from other family dramas of the era. Walton House. There was more to the Walton house than a set. It became a recognizable emblem of the show and was included at the beginning and end of each episode. The house wasn't designed at random. In order to support the realism of the show's rural Virginia setting, it was designed to mimic the boyhood house of the author of the original book. Because it embodied the core of the Walton family's existence, its straightforward, recognizable appearance offered viewers a feeling of security and inclusion. The house was difficult to film, even though it appeared authentic on screen. Every outside scene was filmed on Warner Brothers' back lot. Burbank, California, studios. Most of the house was a facade. The back was largely exposed, but the front facade was finished. There weren't many functional areas within the building, and the rear porch actually led to a makeup room for the cast rather than the house. Those sequences were not shot in the finished second story, which is frequently seen in wide shots. In contrast to John Boy's now famous bedroom, which lacks a true interior area, the few lights that were attached to a wooden platform were only connected by ladders. Additionally, every interior scene that suggested a family residing in the house was shot in a different location, appeared to be quite simple on the outside, but was elaborately designed inside to accommodate the crew and cameras. This house has a legacy that extends beyond the Waltons. The building was part of television history and stayed at the Warner Brothers property when the series concluded. After being destroyed by arson, it underwent renovations and was subsequently utilized for Gilmore Girls, another beloved show. After some contemporary renovations, the famous house was transformed into the Dragonfly Inn. This plays a significant role in Lorelai and Sookie's life. As a result, the Walton House is currently a part of Hollywood's working environment in addition to existing in the minds of its devotees. There were secrets surrounding the Walton House, but what's about to happen is completely new. The odds were beaten by the Waltons. The Waltons first appeared on CBS during a period when the network wasn't very supportive of shows with a rural theme. The intentional attempt by CBS to discontinue programs that focused on rural life and basic country households was known as the Rural Purge. The network aimed to appeal to a younger, more urban audience and update its image. As a result, the likelihood of a show like The Waltons succeeding was low. The Waltons created a remarkable success story in spite of these obstacles. Despite the network's expectations, the show was one of the few that survived this transition. The wholesome, loving dynamic of the Walton family immediately won over viewers, and the television series went on to become one of the biggest hits. Its popularity demonstrated that, despite networks turned toward edgier, more urban programming, audiences were still drawn to tales of close-knit towns and family values. In addition to securing a spot on CBS, the Waltons created avenues for further similar shows. Due to the series' popularity, other television programs, such as Little House on the Prairie, imitated the formula for narrating family-oriented stories set in the American prairies. Therefore, despite current changes, the Waltons affirmed that there were still sizable audiences for these types of emotional, vintage dramas. Because it serves as a reminder to viewers that network executives can completely undervalue the impact of straightforward human stories. It became a defining hit for CBS in the 1970s, despite being gambled during a period of extensive programming changes. Resilience, love, and strength. The now familiar tale that helped the show win over viewers' hearts guaranteed its position in television history. Congress was pleased with the show. A network's programming choice wasn't the only factor in the development of the Waltons. Broader worries about the moral direction of television at the time had an impact on it. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, actress Cami Kotler, who portrayed Elizabeth Walton, disclosed that the show's wholesome tone was partially a reaction to political pressure. Kotler claimed that CBS was searching for material that would address the moral direction of television because of congressional hearings that had been raising these issues. The Walton family was thought to be the ideal response to these concerns because of their strong morals, close ties, and courteous interactions. CBS understood that a program like The Waltons might demonstrate the network's dedication to offering ethically sound television. This gave the network a more favorable image during a period of public criticism and government inquiries. The Waltons had highly relevant elements in December because it gave CBS a show that reflected the diversity of America. In addition to bringing that audience home, the struggles and love of the Great Depression acted as the counterpoint to some of the most contentious and boundary-pushing material of the time. Its success and existence might allay some of the worries expressed during the Senate hearings. Thus, The Waltons was a larger cultural-political debate over what kinds of stories belong on television rather than just a kind of entertainment. In this way, CBS complied with congressional requirements and went on to create one of the most popular family dramas in American television history. A large audience could still be captivated and motivated by that moral tale. A position earned through hardship. Even before joining the Walton family, Michael Learned, who rose to fame as Olivia Walton, struggled with personal issues. She was struggling with alcoholism when she tried out for the part. During the audition, she actually had a secret bottle of vodka in her pocket. Although it's unknown if this had an impact on the casting choice, Michael nevertheless managed to land the part that would shape a large portion of her acting career. Although Learned's struggle with alcoholism persisted while she was on the program, she remained professional and gave the moving performances that helped make Olivia Walton a cherished character. She gradually became sober over time, but it wasn't until she was 78 years old. Despite facing personal struggles behind the scenes, her path demonstrated the courage and tenacity she frequently brought to the part on film. By the end of the sixth season, Michael Learned had made up his mind to leave the Waltons. She considered quitting everything because of the demanding role and personal reasons. To the pleasure of the show's devoted audience, she was convinced to remain on for a little while longer in a smaller role, which would enable her to reduce her burden while still participating in the production. Michael Learned's experience working in the Waltons serves as a reminder that reality can occasionally be entirely different, concealed from even the most beautiful TV drama pictures. Despite having numerous personal issues, she developed a strong, compassionate, and morally upright character. Her ability to balance taking on these challenges with maintaining the character went on to leave a lasting impression on the series and its viewers. Behind the Waltons, heartbreak. During the show's production, the Waltons ensemble experienced a number of real-life health issues and losses. Ellen Corby, who portrayed Grandma Esther, was involved in one of the most important episodes. While working on the show, Ellen has a stroke in real life. When he discovered her unconscious on the set, her husband went straight to the doctor. In order to allow her to recuperate while maintaining the continuity of the show, the production team incorporated her absence into the plot. Ellen finally made a comeback to the show and kept performing until her death on April 14, 1999, at the age of 87. Will Geer, who played Grandpa Zeb Walton, passed away, which was another significant loss for the actors and fans. Will received an Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series for his performance in the sixth-season role. On April 22, 1978, at the age of 76, he passed away from respiratory failure. He reportedly continued to enjoy the arts till the end, reciting poems and singing songs as he lay dying. His role was also properly written out of the show after his death. The senior cast was not an exception to the dread of health. Throughout her years on the show, Mary Elizabeth McDonough, who portrayed Erin, faced her own challenges. She claimed that she developed an ulcer as a result of poor dieting because she felt pushed to be the attractive one. Elizabeth said, "They would whisper to me that I was the pretty one, but I didn't think I was ugly." It was not consoling. It seemed like something that may offend other individuals. She continued by outlining the associated pressure. John Ritter, who played Reverend Matthew, could sense that something was up despite her best efforts to conceal the symptoms from her other cast members. Her mental and physical health significantly improved when he urged her to start journaling. These incidents serve as a reminder to the audience that, in contrast to the idyllic family they depicted, the players behind the Waltons' curtain were actually living their own personal experiences. Like the genuine family they previously portrayed, the cast helped one another through personal struggles, losses, and illnesses. Even during tumultuous times, their fortitude and perseverance kept the show authentic. The next adventure of the cast. Many of the cast members of the Waltons went on to achieve success in both their personal and professional lives after the show's conclusion. Michael Learned, who portrayed Olivia Walton, continued to put in consistent effort. She starred in a number of popular daytime dramas, such as General Hospital, One Life to Live, All My Children, and even Scrubs. After departing the adored family drama, Michael's skill and adaptability made it simple for her to go into other roles. Each member of the cast took a different route. John Walmsley, who played Jason Walton, managed to combine his musical abilities with acting. He voiced Christopher Robin in the Winnie the Pooh films in addition to his many acting jobs. He then concentrated on his lucrative career as a singer and songwriter. Judy Norton, best known for her portrayal of Mary Ellen, gained notoriety for her photo shoot with Playboy but later left the limelight. She started participating in sports including tennis, skydiving, horseback riding, and skiing. Additionally, she currently maintains a YouTube channel where she shares her thoughts on previous Waltons episodes. Actor Eric Scott, who plays Ben Walton, has a business background and has operated his own delivery firm, Chase Messengers, in addition to his playing career. After the Waltons, David Harper, who played Jim Bob, played a bit part in the 1985 comedy Fletch before retiring. His life is reportedly being chronicled in an autobiography. And Mike returned to the spotlight. As each of the many cast members left their imprint after the show ended, their journeys were very diverse. Richard Thomas, who played John Boy, quit the show after the 5th season but went on to perform in movies and television. Other celebrities are still in the business. He appeared in the most recent Waltons revival, as well as the 1979 miniseries Roots, NCIS, New Orleans, and The Americans. After overcoming his alcoholism, Ralph Waite, who played John Walton, went on to have a career that included parts in Little House on the Prairie and other films. Before passing away in 2014 at the age of 85, he even made 3 unsuccessful runs for Congress. These instances demonstrate how the Walton cast members' spirits have persisted into a new phase of their life. The Waltons sought to accurately portray rural Virginia life during the Depression when time was warped. However, historical errors still affected it. Period posters and signage were a persistent problem. Spelling errors that would not have been there at the time were specifically present in the National Recovery Administration, or NRA, posters that were shown on the program. For instance, the term forward appears in place of forward in the 1973 episode The Deed. Additionally, it is misspelled once more in the same year's bequest. Given the show's attempt to establish a realistic environment, these minor mistakes were particularly noticeable. The episode The Burnout, which focuses on a fire brought on by defective wiring, is another noteworthy time period slip. The issue is that the story takes place in Schuyler, Virginia, where the Waltons resided, in the 1930s, when TVA wires were even common. Actually, it wouldn't have been until 1937 that the Tennessee Valley Authority would have installed electrical wiring in that area. Although most viewers at the time probably weren't aware of it, this rendered the episode's premise historically incorrect. Additionally, rather than adhering to the fashion of the day, the Waltons' decisions were influenced by contemporary styles. Even though the show's stories are set in the 1940s, characters started to have long sideburns and feathered hair from the 1970s as the series went on to later seasons. The show's chosen historical period was in conflict with the small but evident anachronisms generated by the blending of modern trends with a period setting. The same discrepancies also plagued the show's character pairings. It's interesting to note that, despite having different teachers in previous episodes, John Boy and Jason seem to be in the same class in multiple episodes. For instance, how could it have occurred in their educational history that Miss Hunter taught Elizabeth, Jason, John Boy, and Ben at various times? Over the years, ardent fans have become acutely aware of these mistakes and the sporadic time period blunders. On occasion, stage decorations and props have also added to the historical variances. Modern items like glass jars with brands or packaging designs that would not have existed during the Great Depression were among the items that perceptive viewers discovered. Although these minor background information are ignored, they become increasingly significant to the fan. Intrigued by the attempt to recreate the 1930s, these scenes serve as a reminder that, despite extensive production, some contemporary elements were included into the Waltons world. Put that idea on hold. The following piece of Waltons trivia was unexpected by fans. An unscripted date. One of the main pillars of the Waltons was the on-screen chemistry between Olivia and John Walton. The characters' strong bond and love for one another came naturally to the audience, making them one of the most adored couples on television. It wasn't just good acting that created this relationship. It demonstrated the sincere friendship of actors Ralph Waite and Michael Learn-Need, who played Olivia and John, respectively. Their relationship made their roles as husband and wife more genuine. Working together was so much fun for Michael and Ralph that they pondered whether their relationship would transcend the screen. They went on a real-life date because they believed their relationship could transcend the screen. It's possible that admirers of their on-screen collaboration wished for a genuine romance between the two celebrities. For seasoned viewers, the notion of their relationship developing into something more was both thrilling and endearing. Knowing that there was sincere love behind the scenes gave their performances an additional level of fascination. Their date demonstrated how close they were, even if it didn't turn into a romance. Their relationship off-screen, nevertheless, didn't last. Michael and Ralph chose not to continue a romantic connection after just one date. They remained close colleagues and kept giving the powerful, convincing performances that gave viewers a sense of the Waltons' marriage, even after this brief investigation into something else than friendship. Their commitment to the craft was evident in their ability to keep their personal emotions and professional obligations apart. Additionally, it maintained the emotional continuity that viewers had grown to love by guaranteeing that their on-screen chemistry would not be disrupted. Their bond only became stronger over time, serving as the series' main pillar of support. The ability to maintain professionalism and respect even after a mutual decision to stop dating is one of the show's greatest achievements. It maintained the professional relationship's integrity, allowing spectators to continue enjoying the fuzzy edges that made John and Olivia's interactions so captivating. One of the most well-known couples on television has a lengthy personal history that is revealed in this chapter. It serves as a reminder that relationships in real life, even if they don't develop romantically, can significantly enhance on-screen narrative. Every look, exchange of words, and silent moment between the two characters was genuine, as fans could perceive. Ultimately, their common past contributed to the ageless quality of John and Olivia's love. And accurate. In the end, their choice to put their personal and professional connection first improved the dynamic of the performance. Michael and Ralph were able to transform their genuine bond into performances that felt emotionally genuine by establishing clear limits and upholding mutual respect, which gave the Waltons' lasting legacy even more nuance. They were able to preserve the love narrative of their characters because of their professional maturity, without allowing private affairs to get in the way. Additionally, it established a climate of trust and cooperation on set, which probably helped create the cozy, familial ambience for which the program is renowned. In many respects, the poise and consideration they exhibited in their on-screen performances were reflected in their abilities to handle difficult emotions off-screen. Thank you for viewing. Please like this video if you had fun spotting these amusing Waltons bloopers. Tell us about your favorite goof in the comments section below. For more vintage TV moments, subscribe. Remember to click on the following video that appears on your screen. There is much more to learn.